Boom, boom. What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? What's up? I got to itch my nose. I'm sorry. Well, another week. Hope I'm working. Hope people are here. Hope people can hear me. What's up, Evan? What's up, Steven? Kyle? Can you guys hear me? Just let me know. Another week has passed. We're all a little bit older. What's up, Justin? It's good to see you again. It's been crazy. Crazy days for sure. Crazy days for sure. Where'd my pen go? There it is. Anyways, I hope you guys are doing good. Got something a little bit different in store for you tonight, for you nice people tonight. Excuse me. So tonight, last week, what did we do last week? We did the Jack of Spades or clubs or something from the Overbite deck. And this week, we're going to do something a little bit different. All week, I have been working on, do you remember the Arthurian playing card deck? The Arthurian, based on the King Arthur legend? Well, all week, I have been reworking. Reworking is, it is, that's a kind of an understatement, but not really. So here's what's going on with the Ethereum. I'm reprinting the Ethereum because we're sold out. We're totally out of those, and that's one of my favorite decks that I've done. And one of the things that I originally, and you'll see this on a few decks that I'm doing. Let me just move this. I'm doing this with Legal Tender because, like with Legal Tender, I originally wanted to print like holographic foil and stuff like that on it, and just didn't have the capabilities to do it. And I did Ethereum like, I don't know, 3-4 years ago. I can't remember. But the one of the things with the Ethereum was that it was supposed to be, it was inspired by illuminated manuscripts, mainly the Book of the Kells. And the Book of the Kells, they used a lot of very gold flake ink, They paint a lot of gold foiling and stuff not foiling because they didn't really have foiling back then, but they painted like gold gilding and stuff like that on the I almost said the decks, but on the manuscripts. And so one of the things that I am doing with the reprint, so that's not just a straight up reprint. I wanted to add that kind of illuminated, because illuminated manuscript means multiple things. One, it means that they drew illustrations to go with it, but the illumination also means the gold that they added. And it's kind of very similar in the same vein of the reason why they did stained glass windows in like cathedrals, because the thought was that it would represent the light that was shining through the stained glass windows would represent the light of God and is beautiful and that kind of thing. Very similar thing to the why they did illuminated manuscripts. And so let me give you an example. Barrett asks, is the Federal 52 reprint still happening? Oh, yeah, it's still happening, bro. It's totally still happening. I'm going to open up a file here. So one of the things that I've been doing, let me just pull this over here so I can see what's going on. Desktop, okay, let me open this up. So this is an example of the new Arthurian deck and what it's going to look like. Why does it do that? I don't know. What? Anyways, this is kind of what it looks like here. Let me just share my other screen so you can see what's going on. So one of the things that we're doing is that you can notice that all the Celtic Knot work on the side, the gold, the Holy Grail, all the gold, and then like the gold halo in the background. All of that stuff will be gold foil, and there'll be some parts like the Celtic Knot on the side. The Celtic Knot on the side. I'll use my cursor so you can see it. The Celtic Knot on the side, that'll just be straight up an opening to the background, which would be gold foil. And then there'll be certain spots like this right here, like the halo around his head. You might not be able to see it, but you can kind of see these little light rays and stuff. That's going to be gold foil, not cold foil. Nay, not cold foil, because everybody's doing cold foil now, and they just, it all kind of looks the same, the way the kind of the process. So what this is going to be actual foil, and then we're going to print CMYK on the top of it, like we've done with a few of the other decks, like VHS, Nutcracker, and those types of things. So, she's a Butte Clark. Anyways, so the new Arthurian deck, the way we're going to reprint it, it's going to be awesome. Also, and what I've been doing all week, I basically have been redoing all of the artwork. Not redrawing it, but I basically I've had to do it over again. Especially, I've had to remake all of the index cards, and I've also had to basically remake the court cards as well, because when I originally did this, I had no foiling in this way was so far out of touch, out of reach, that I didn't even prepare for it, and I didn't have the foresight to do it to basically structure the file that it made it easy. So I'm basically having to go back and redo all the files. Will the Arthurian reprint be USB-C or EPCC? Well, the first one was EPCC, and so the second one's going to be EPCC, because USB-C can't do what I want to do when it comes to foiling. And Metalux just don't cut it, because Metalux, although really cool, Metalux is very, 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 very limiting. You can't print CMYK. You have to basically print a solid color underneath. You can't print any kind of design. They won't let you do that. So it's very, very limiting on what you could do. But with this, the success I've been having with Expert Playing Card Company in this specific process, first of all, nobody else is doing this, the specific type of process that we're doing with these decks. Cardamundi has cold foil and stuff like that, but I don't really like the way cold foil looks in the end. But nobody else is really doing this kind of process the way that we're foiling these and printing on them and everything like that. But anyways, so tonight what we're going to do is, the original Arthurian deck had a key card, and I'll show you the back design I made for the key card. This is the original back design for the key card. Let's see here. This is the original. Well, the story behind this design. Let me move it over here some. The story behind this design was, this was actually the original back design that I did for the Arthurian, but then I ended up changing it to what ended up becoming the back design for the Arthurian. And then I ended up using this. I ended up using this design for the back design of the key card in the deck. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to kind of recreate this. I'm going to use this as a base and recreate this, but I'm going to draw it in such a way. I'm going to probably use a very similar design motif, but it's one thing that I don't like about this. It's always kind of one of those things where you go back and look at your art later on, you're like, what was I doing? Kind of a thing. So I'm probably going to use this as the basic structure. But everything that's like white lines, like the whole Celtic Knot design, instead of just being able to see the paper texture through it, everything that's the Celtic Knot is going to be gold, a very tight knit gold foil. And so you'll have matte texture paper, and then you'll have the gold foil shining through in this really intricate Celtic knot design. I got bit by something tonight and my arm itches. Let's see. Let me answer a few questions here before I start. EPC still feels like plastic to me. Well, I mean, I can understand that because there's a lot of plastic on the cards. So, I mean, the foil is plastic. And then you got the coating on top of that. So that's understandable. I'm sorry. I can totally understand that. But USB-C just can't do what I want in terms of like the art. And I wish they could, but they just can't. And so there's a lot of things that I want to do that they can't do. And so it's just kind of a no-brainer for me to do that. All right. Let me reposition here. Okay. I'm still kind of getting used to this new setup, but that's okay. Okay. I'm going to put this back up on this monitor up here so I can see it. All right. Okay. So let me just move this mic so you can hear me talking. Make sure it's on. Just getting comfortable here, people. Sorry. All right. I think we're good. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I got me a new layer started, and I'm just going to sketch basic geometric shapes to kind of create the kind of motif and kind of structure. I'm going to turn on symmetry here so I can draw. It's a quad symmetry, so it's top, bottom, left, right. Just make sure my pen works. Okay, we're good. Let's see. All right. So I'm looking at the original one here above me. So what we got is we kind of got a shape here, and then it looks like two circles like this. And I'm just kind of sketching the overall structure. And then one of the things that they had is kind of these points in the corners. And then I'm going to connect this with that. I'm really using my original back design as a kind of the starting point, but I'm just I'm cleaning it up a lot because there's a lot of things about it that I don't necessarily like. And have this almost like 4 petal leaves. And then we're going to have an X pattern in the middle. And then it's going to maybe come up into 2 circles. I don't want to repeat those circles. So let's just do 1 circle like this. I need to make sure and bring this down like that. Feeling good about that. And then this is going to come in. Kind of create that design. And really what I'm doing here is just trying to find the flow of what is going to become this Celtic knot. Got to turn my thing on over here. Let's see. Going to come up here, come down into here, back up, and then in like that. All right. And then this there. This maybe come down like this. All right. I feel good about that. Like that. We need something right here. Let's get a circle. And that's going to come in and play nice with that. All right. So, excuse me. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this layer down in opacity. And I'm just going to keep sketching and each time get a little bit more detailed. And so when I'm doing this Celtic knot work, this is kind of like the structure, and then I'll go in and add more lines. Excuse me. I'll go ahead and add more lines And then once I've got the design, then I'll go back and then draw the knot work. And the knot work being like where it kind of weaves in and out. So I'll make me a new layer here. I'm going to bring up the size to start mimicking the size of the knot work. My eraser here. Okay. Come up like this. Kind of repeat that shape. Got it. Got it. Now, I mean, I like this original design, and that's one of the reasons why I'm sticking with it. But there's just some quirky stuff. There's just some quirky stuff that I don't like about it. And this original back design was very. It was like the first Celtic Knot design that I did, and I was still very, very new at doing Celtic knots, and so a lot of it was me figuring out how to do the knotwork design. That's pretty cool. Let me just see here. Looks like a wind shape there. I don't know what a wind shape is. Whoa. Let me turn my touch off. I keep always doing that and always doesn't like it. All right. I want to come to a point. I can already see a little heart in there, but that's all right. I'm going to come back and like bring it back in to here. Like that. And then come down through here. Yep, I like X's. X's are one of the strongest visual design motifs. And you can look there like ancient, well, I don't want to talk a bunch of art history right now. So see like this right here, right in this area here, I don't like that because that's going to be hard. I want it to have kind of a regular, I want it to have kind of a regular spacing. And that was one of the things that I did not like about the original back design is the spacing of the weave ended up being kind of irregular. Just go to a different spot just so I can work around it a little bit. Keep it fresh. Come up over this. Bring this down here. I'm going to come up through the middle like that and come back down. See, somebody's asking questions. All right, let's see. And I want to keep repeating like these directions and come back here. Let's go out and back in. Like that. And then bring this. I'm just talking to myself while I'm doing this. See if there's anybody else. Nope. Do 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 do. Go to the middle. And this is, let me just take a look at it here. Just kind of get a feel of what I'm going to do here. So like I'll show you an example of something I don't like about the original design. I don't like if you look at this, let me see. If you look at this, I don't like how like this curve here comes and then it does this sharp turn. But then this one is kind of like this nice arc. And then you can like see like this line has a different thickness than this one, and this one gets thinner, then thick again. Just kind of all these kind of irregularities that I don't like. And then like this has got a big space in between here, and then this has got a little space. I mean, that's okay, but it's more annoying than anything to me. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. Of I want to take this as the beginning, the general shape, just so it has a little bit of harken back to the original, but we're going to try to make it better because I'm a better artist than I was when I did it then. And so you always want to keep getting it better. Practice, practice, practice. I'm going to bring this out here. I'm going to continue this shape. Oops. I'm going to bring here. Like that. Come here. Okay, I want to go down this way. I don't want to go to the center because I want it to make a nice weave pattern. And then I can connect with this line there. Okay, let me see where I want to go now. Let's go here and create a point like that. Come back up and knot it back into here. Nope, don't like that. Let's see here. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry I'm not talking very much. Lots of thinking. I want to come back. I want to come back with it this way. Then back over. And then all the way through like that. Yeah, I like that. And then we'll do one here. And it'll jog over. Ah. Okay. See, nobody's asking questions. Good, because I am not talking very much, and I apologize. All right, I want to keep this nice X in the middle, and I just want to make sure I don't like that corner there. I need some more swooping lines. Then let's do a point. It'd be nice to do a point all the way up in here. Go back a couple of steps. Eraser. Let's go back. That's going to be hard to weave, so I'm going to come back. A lot of this is just me winging it, really. Just me kind of winging it until I get something I like. All right. I'm feeling that. I like to kind of like these four kind of shapes. Let me zoom out a little bit. Let's do a second. I don't know what you call these petals or something. Let me see. How do I want to tie that in? Do you feel like being left-handed helps or hinders you as an artist in any way? You know, that's a really good question. I think that the only real way that I have felt being left-handed has been a disadvantage, for me at least, has been with calligraphy. Because I've always liked hand lettering stuff and that kind of thing. And all calligraphy is basically made for right-handers. The way that you tilt the pen, the way you pull and the push. And so that's definitely one thing that it's been a disadvantage because with calligraphy. I want to pull out some of these right angles where it kind of jogs over because it kind of looks, I don't know, it looks a little bit too, almost like circuit boardy. But when I do all the finish work, it's not going to look circuit boardy, but I want to just kind of keep it from that. Bring this here. Lots of like in Celtic art, Celtic knots and stuff, there's lots of like switchbacks where it comes back on itself. But I'm getting really tight in there. I don't necessarily want that. All right, let's see here. Okay. Now I'm getting where I want to be. See, Michael asks, how often do you just scrap a design altogether? I actually don't do that very often. I can't remember the last time I scrapped a design. I basically will rework it until I don't even really rework stuff that much. I don't know why, but I just don't. I have lots of designs and ideas, and I never really scrap them in the sense of like, oh, I'm never going to use that, and it never sees the light of day. I don't rarely ever do that. Because I think just with a little bit of, start over or work at it again, that's kind of a thing. I think there's always a way to use the work that you've done. Like I may do a design and then not use it, for like a year or like a while. Just kind of depends. I'm trying to figure out how to connect this together. I don't necessarily like that, but I'm going to keep it for now. Because in a Celtic knot, there really can't be any like loose ends because then you can't weave it in and out of each other. All right, now I'm just going to make another layer just like I did before, and then I'm going to start. I'm going to just start drawing it again, and I'm going to zoom in this time and just kind of start. I'm going to just kind of start taking my time. Because if this is good, if I'm feeling this, then this may be part of my final drawing. I'm gonna turn my smoothing up a little bit so it can make my lines a little bit more finessed. Now, I like to paint in Photoshop like this, and so when I do a corner, I mean, I could draw a corner like this, where I go like this and I come down. Let me start over. I could do a corner like this where I stop at the corner and then continue like that, but it gives you this round kind of droopy, not sharp corner. And I like to paint stuff in Photoshop by hand, not necessarily vector like with Illustrator. And so when I do a corner, I'll go all the way past. I'll go all the way past it like I did here. And then I'll start back here. And that way, once I've finished, in order to get a nice sharp corner, I just can come back in with my eraser and erase it like this. And then I've got a nice sharp corner. But I just need to fix up this part here. And so now I've got a nice sharp corner. That's just something it's an extra step, but it makes for a lot nicer edge. So like you see this as a nice corner and everything now. I just now realized how boring this is probably going to be. Just drawing all these lines. And then when I'm done with it, when I'm done with the drawing, and I'll try to go through it pretty quickly so it's not mind-numbing. But when I'm done with the drawing, I'll turn off the symmetry, and then I'll go back, and then I will do all of the like under, over, not work to make it to where it's all kind of asymmetrical but still symmetrical. Appreciate that. Nice. Ben Mapes. I hope that's how you pronounce your last name. If it's not, I apologize. Thank you for the encouraging words. This is meditative. Well, thank you. See, now I got these nice sharp lines, sharp corners, and that's what I want. And that's definitely something that I did not have. That's one thing I did not do on the first one. Attention to detail. I mean, it's not that I didn't have attention to detail on the first one. It's just I've developed a whole lot as an artist since I did that first one. And once I draw this, I would say that these lines are like the backbone of my design. I'll then go back and draw another layer just to like almost like multiply the amount of lines that are in the design to make it more intricate. Saw somebody ask something. You're asking, you became a subscriber. When do you gain access to the subscribers only? Well, it's not a automatic process. It's not something like that a computer does automatically. It's something that we have to input manually when you become a subscriber to gain access to the members only page. And it'll probably be, I mean, if you did it in the past few days, especially over the weekend, then most likely tomorrow when the crew gets back and does their thing. Because Amy, my incredible kind of customer service extraordinaire, she kind of updates that list on a daily basis, depending on the new subscribers and such. She'll export all the active subscribers and then update that members only list. Let's see. Nick doesn't handle over the past few weeks he's kind of handed off that responsibility to Amy. And Amy kind of handles kind of the whole customer interaction experience, I guess you could call it. And she also handles, because she's like a administrative organizational like guru. And so she's handling all that stuff now. Nick is more kind of like big picture. Well, he helps me kind of facilitate the big picture ideas. And he also kind of runs everything for me because I'm not there in Austin. What monitor I ended up going with, this is a Cintiq. I had a Cintiq before, a Wacom Cintiq. I had a 24-inch HD. It was a 24 HD Cintiq monitor that I had for like 8 years. This is a new one. This is the new 32-inch Cintiq, and it's awesome. I like the touch. It has a touch. It's got a touch thing like this. I can touch it with my fingers. My last one didn't have that. I like it. It's really cool. I've had to get used to it. I've got this little thing here that I can do like hotkeys and with, like, you know, I've set it up to where if I don't want to use my keyboard, that I can do that. However, I have found that the touch stuff kind of gets in my way when I'm doing Photoshop because I have my hands all over, and it kind of wigs out sometimes, and I don't necessarily like it. I'm going to bring this up because I still have some room to go up to that dotted line. I want to make a little point there. Tomorrow, I haven't given away the iPad yet. It's been all me. We felt like we should do, because everybody works so hard with the giveaway. We felt like it deserved more than just me doing a live and announcing the winner. So it's going to be an actual video I shoot. Hopefully I do that tomorrow. It's been all me and I'm just lazy. We have the winner, but I'm not going to tell who it is. I just have been slammed, and I've been trying to I've just been lazy. Don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me. So hopefully tomorrow we'll announce the winner. Oh, let me erase that. All right. I could see where the touch feature would be nice for like photographers and stuff. But I just have my hands all over the monitor. Cuz I mean it's really like I really feel like it's a piece of paper. You know what I should do? What I should do is save, because I haven't saved anything yet. And it would be stupid for me not to save and lose this work. That's when I scrap my designs, when I don't save. All right. Let me find where I'm putting these files. There. Let's go. Okay. We're saved. Oops. Okay. Clean that up a little bit. A little bit messy down here. There we go. Looking good. This is a little bit thick right here. Thin that up a little bit. Let's see here. 10 minutes to remind me. Yeah. Save. I mean, because hard drive space is basically, I mean, it's not free, but especially like if you have like some kind of cloud service, which I do. I mean, I save everything locally, and especially my work folder. I save everything locally, and also mirroring it on the cloud. And I've got the whole kind of like, whatever you call it, rewind feature on my cloud service, to where if something happens or I screw up or don't like a file, and I do it all the time, I have mirrors of different times and stuff like that. I can go back. But you might as well, because it's not free, but it's super cheap. And you get so much space now that you can never really fill it up. I mean, I'm sure some people do. So one thing is, all these black lines will end up being gold foil. So that's one thing that I'm just keeping in mind as I'm doing this. Are subscriptions sent out at the same time every month, or does it change? It changes. We charge your card the same day every month on the 1st, but we basically send the decks out when we have them ready. Because we're doing a deck a month, we're a lot better now than we were when we started. We're a lot farther ahead now than the way we were when we started. But we basically send them out when we've got them ready, because we've tried really hard to. Last year we sent a lot of the gilding out the following month, just because we didn't have them ready. And we've done a whole lot better job, I think, of getting things out all together. And so, but to answer your question, no, we don't send them out at the same time. We charge your card at the same time, because that's an automated process, but we don't send them out at the same time. It's not very straight. Sorry, I'm concentrating. Yeah, I think they have too. I mean, a lot of the shipments we had last year were towards the very, very end of the month. Like this month, we had them locked and ready to go. The general mission. I think we're even getting back. I can't remember, but I think we're already. I can't remember when the gildeds. I think the gilded ones are already coming back. I can't remember though. And the same thing. USPC. I think are finished. I think they are finished. I can't remember. They are finished with the Peter Dash Flash decks, and they're just. I think they're going to ship them this week, and so we've had the tucks for those for a long time, and so there's no reason why July's deck, which is Peter Dash Flash, the P51 Mustang deck, there's no reason why that's not going to get sent out in a nice and early fashion. But I don't know about the gilded decks because we haven't got the decks yet, so we'll see. Control S, people. Control S. Nope, I'm not Command S. I'm not a Mac guy. Sorry, people. Oh, but you're a designer. I thought all designers work on Macs. Nope, not this guy. I was a Mac guy for a long time. Then I wised up. I guess that's a different conversation. Let's see. Sharpening all my corners. It's looking good. It's feeling good. At least I like it. Who knows? Maybe I may not like it at the end and then scrap it. I may scrap it. Make sure my brush size is pretty close to being the same. Clean that up a little bit. Let's see. Cool. Sorry, I'm not as talkative as I usually am. This is not that, doing this is not that hard. It's actually very therapeutic, but for some reason, making these long arcs just takes a little bit more concentration. And I don't like stopping like I am here. I need to be able to zoom out a little bit, just a little bit, so I can see the whole thing, where I'm going. Let's see here. I can't wait for you to get your first subscription deck either. Either? Which one is it? Either? When I start doing like what I call like the weaving or the knot work, it's a lot of fun, and I'm not trying to sell it. I don't think this is boring, but it's another part of this process of doing these Celtic knots that is very, very interesting to me. It's also like almost like doing a puzzle, because you have to kind of keep track of what you're doing, what's over, what's under, and you don't want, and the more lines you have crossing over, the harder it gets to kind of stay on track or keep an eye on what you're doing and knowing where you're going, because you don't want it to be like an over meeting an over, because then it wouldn't be weaving and then you've done something wrong. Then you gotta backtrack and then find what you did wrong. here. And this is going to look great with these really tight, small gold lines in gold foil. It's going to look great. Well, I think it's going to look great. See. And we know which subscriptions have a shot at the golden ticket. The only subscription that has a shot at the golden ticket is the standard table players subscription. We only put golden tickets in the standard table players. We don't put golden tickets in the gilded ones. We only put golden tickets in the standard table players edition. So if you want to try to get a golden ticket, you'll need to make sure that you have a standard table player subscription. Control S, Control S. Control S, people, Control S. All right, we're getting closer. I love cigarette tobacco packaging as well from like the early 50s and 60s. I mean, even some of the stuff now is still cool because they do a lot of stuff that's similar to that old stuff. I'm not. Yeah, I like that stuff. Just has a simplicity to it. John player boxes are hard to get in America. I'm not sure what that means. Otherwise, you get nothing. I'm not sure what's going on. Oh yeah, you get nothing. Is that a Willy Wonka reference? You get nothing. You stole fizzy lifting drink. You get nothing. I don't know if that story is. I wonder if that story is public domain or not. Charlotte and the Chocolate Factory. I don't think it is. I don't feel like it's old enough. I don't know, though. I don't know much about that book. I'm always thinking about what's public domain so I can make a deck into it or make a deck out of the story. But everything that I think about is playing cards. It was bought, I think. I bet it was. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, because obviously Disney's made something out of it. But that doesn't mean it's not public domain. I mean, Peter Pan's public domain now. I don't know. Control S. Control S. I hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody's being safe in this weird time on planet Earth. I tell you what, this whole COVID-19, all the things going on, weird. I'm not going to get into it. There's no reason for me to. But I tell you what, I got to say one thing. I have got the best. You people, you guys are the best. I don't even want to call you fans because I feel like that's, I don't know, I feel like that's a little bit pretentious. I want to call you my family, my community. You guys are the best. And you guys have been so supportive during this weird time that it just keeps reminding me why I love to do this, because of the interaction, the community, just all that stuff. You know what? I saw that same video too, the one that theorized Snowpiercer as the sequel to Willy Wonka, and I thought that was so fascinating. If you haven't seen that video, there's a video out there on YouTube's that talks about how Snowpiercer is the sequel to Willy Wonka, and it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. What's his name? The guy. It talks about the boy. What's his name? I can't remember. The boy in the inn that gets the factory. He ends up becoming, well, I'm not going to spoil it because I feel like it's interesting enough that I don't want to spoil it. So just search Snowpiercer as sequel to, not right now. Of course, not right now because you're watching me. But whatever. Okay. So in other news, for you people that may have followed me, I can't remember when we did this or when I did this last, but there was a time period where I love coffee, and I'm only talking about this because I'm just trying to keep myself talking to you nice people so that I'm not just sitting here. But I love coffee, and I also like making things with my hands, and that's why you always see that Bible verse on my decks, the Thessalonians 4:11, work with your hands, mind your own business, and let your daily life win the respect of outsiders. And so making stuff with my hand is something I love to do. And I love coffee. And so I fabricated this coffee roaster a few years back. And I even tried to do my own coffee, King's Wild Coffee, when I was in Austin. And then when we moved, I kind of stopped doing it. Well, I mean, I always roast coffee for myself, but the entrepreneurial side of me stopped doing it as a business. However, I got all my stuff out again when we moved, and I'm roasting coffee again for more than myself, for my little community here that I live in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And we've been doing this thing where every Saturday people come to my house. Well, not to my house, but to my driveway. And we've been giving out free King's Wild coffee that I roast, and they get a deck of cards with it, just building community and telling stories. But the cool news is my coffee website's back up and running. I don't have anything for sale. I don't have anything for sale on there yet. But it's probably just going to be a local thing that I do for just this local area. But King's Wild Coffee is back up and running. And people are really liking it too. I think we gave away like 100. We've given away like 100 bags, 100 probably 120 bags of the past 2 weeks. People are liking it. It's really cool to meet people and hear their story, especially in this time. It's just weird. It's always nice to like meet new people and find out connections and, commonality. And so I should. I should. Well, the only problem is that's a great idea. Put a bag of coffee with my Father's Day thing. The only problem is all my coffee endeavors are here in Chattanooga, and all of my King's Wild inventory and fulfillments in Austin. So it's kind of like I can't really put them together because I'd have to make 2 shipments. But I'll probably sell coffee on my website, mykingswildcoffee.com. Shameless plug. So right here with this line intersects, when you're doing Celtic knots, if you have more than 2 lines that intersect in one spot like they do right here, that is a no bueno. No bueno. Because you can't, it's really hard to make that look like one goes over and one goes under. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to bring that somewhere else. Maybe I do it like this. Let me see here. Where can I take it? Any update on the whiskey bottles? Actually, there is an update. They just sent me the labels, and I have to hand sign and number the labels. We've got the bottles. We've got the whiskey. Well, we're not sending out any whiskey. And what we're going to do is we are going to email everybody that ordered one of those Edred whiskey bottles. We're going to email everybody that ordered them, and we're going to ask you if we put one of your family members in the deck, which card. I'm going to have to do this, and it's going to be annoying. I'm going to go ahead and do this, intersect it right here, and I'll solve it later. But we're going to email everybody that ordered the whiskey bottles and ask you, hey, did we put your family member in the deck? And if so, which card is it? That way, I'll sign. That way, the card that we put in the bottle and the one that I sign can be the one that has your family member on it, if we did that. And if we didn't, we'll just put a random card or whatever card you want in there. All right, so that's the base design. So I'm going to save that, Control S. I'm going to delete this now. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new layer, and then I'm going to go in. What time is it? 10 o'clock? We're good. We're doing good. I'm going to go in and start adding more lines just to create more intricate, to create more levels to the design. Missed out. Well, if you missed out on the bottles, that's okay. We're gonna have some extra ones because I think like 36 people, not very many people, about 36 people ordered them, and I think we're making like 50 bottles that don't have whiskey in them. Obviously, we can't sell the ones that have whiskey, but the ones that we have that have whiskey in them, they'll be like gifts for anybody that ever maybe comes by the shop or something like that. Or we ever meet. I may bring some to the playing card convention. Let me see. Put me down for one. All right. But we do have extra ones that don't have whiskey that you can buy that will be on the website. But they won't be for sale until we get everybody that ordered them, which feels like 7 years ago, sent out first. Let me see here. Oh, that was a whole awful line. Where am I going to go with this? I do not know. Okay, looking good. Control S. Control S. Control S. Okay. Let's come down here. Into this. Ugh. Come on, Robinson. Let's get a good arc here. Into this area. And let's come out. Maybe like this. Let's see what happens here if we do this. And come back out. What is wrong with my arm? It's not doing what I'm telling it to do. I need to come back a little bit further up so I'm not going through that intersection. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. I like it right there, maybe a little bit better. Clean this up. It's a little thick. All right, let me see here. I'm going to go up with it this way. I like this curve. Then I'm going to come from here like that. Let me zoom out. Yep, I'm liking that. Feeling good. It's going to look awesome in gold foil. Gonna look sick. Look sick. All right, let me see here. I want to make this a little bit more complex. I'm gonna make a new layer just in case I don't like it. Which I do not like that. Just want to see if I've got a lane that I can go into here. Let's see. I don't want to go into the middle. Come off the edge. Okay. All right, let me back up a little bit. Just take a look at it. Where can I go? Let me try this. Come in here. And then that way. It's a little bit too diamond-y. A little too much. I'm going to just bring that out again. Let me just peek around. I want to add some more in this corner. So I'm going to create a third layer here. That good. But if you want to check out what's going on with the King's Wild Coffee, you should go to my website, kingswildcoffee.com, and sign up for the newsletter. You know, if you want to. Doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter. I care. Getting real close. I'm getting real close to being where I want to start doing the knot work. Or the over-under, what do you want to call it? Yeah, East India Trading Company. I've always liked that. And Pirates. I love Pirates. And I've talked about this before. I've always wanted to do like a Treasure Island deck, or I've always wanted to do Treasure Island because I like that story. The only problem is with like a lot of other literature-based or historical-based decks, there is just never enough female characters that you can get meaningful queens out of. And I like story, and I like literature. All right, I think I'm pretty close. Just finish up these few last lines I got here. Like that. And connect it right there. I do want to give myself some negative space because the negative space is going to end up being full of colors. I'm from Chattanooga. Any chance we can meet for coffee? Sure we can meet for some coffee. Just DM me on Instagram and we can hook something up. All right, so I'm going to Control S, people. I got to see a few little blips I need to clean up here. Sharpen this corner up here. And then I'm going to start the puzzle part, almost like it's a maze or a puzzle. All right, so at this point, I like it. I feel like I feel like there needs, I still feel like the center, let me see here. Have you ever given any consideration to making a deck that is topical to the issues we are dealing with this year? Honestly, I have not. And it's not that I'm not thinking about the issues that are going on right now, but and I guess take it for what it's worth, my mentality with all this kind of stuff that's going on, without getting political at all, my mentality is I really try to live my life in a way that, because that's all I can control is the way that I live my life and the way that I treat others. And I try to live my life in a way that is always having a positive impact on other people. And when it comes to like affecting change in the world, so many people. Activism is there's definitely a place for activism and getting behind something. Uh, but I really feel like the most powerful way to affect change is to actually uh, live your life with integrity and live your life the way that you want, treat people the way you want to be treated. I know it sounds kind of cliche, but I try really hard to make my daily life such that I'm already doing what I can to be a positive impact in other people's lives and making sure that I'm serving other people. And I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of my take. And also, it's just, and it's not that I don't care about what's going on, because I do. I do care about what's going on. But in terms of artistic stuff, I've never felt like my art, I've never had a need. I'm just looking at it as I'm talking. I've never felt a need to be advance political ideas or things going on with my art. That's what I do with my daily life, is how I treat people. And I would want people that interact with me to know that. Okay, so what I've done now is I've turned off the symmetry, and I'm going to start doing the knot work, and the knot work being the over-under stuff. And basically, I'm going to Control S. I'm not going to erase, because erasing is a destructive process, and I want to do something that's non-destructive, so I'm just going to create a mask. Create a mask. And so basically, I'm just going to start somewhere. We'll start right here. I'm going to pick me a size, and then I'm just going to start painting the over-under. And this is kind of where the puzzle starts, is I just have to keep track. Okay, this one's, I just follow one line. So I've gone under. Now I'm going to go over. And I turn my symmetry off so that it's not necessarily symmetrical. Am I a fan of Banksy? I mean, I think what he does is cool. I think it's thought-provoking. I'm a fan in terms of, to the point of, like, I like what he does, and I think he does a really good job of doing it. And I think he's able to say a lot of things without words. And I think that that's interesting, because I'm all about telling a story. That doesn't mean that I think all of his stuff is awesome, but I think that there's a definite purpose behind what he does. And so there's more to it than just the art. So as you're seeing, I'm making sure I'm just following this one path. I'm going, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, and I'm just keeping track of that. And it seems like it's easy, but if you're not paying attention, you get screwed up, and then you'll keep going for a while, and then all of a sudden you'll have an over that meets an over, and then you'll be all screwed up and you'll have to go back. And I find it easier just to follow one thing. And if I've done it correctly to where there's no loose ends, I should just be able to keep continuing to go, and then I will eventually go around the world and then meet back up and be finished and have them all done, if I just keep going on one thing. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of you're talking about pirates, female pirates. There's lots of pirates. Another reason why I've done pirates is just because there've been a lot of pirate decks. So this is under, so I need to go over here. Under, over, under. Michael asks, any collaborations coming up that you can talk about? Let me see. I did have a guy contact me today, which I think is awesome. Well, I don't know. It's very, very early on, and maybe I probably shouldn't talk about it just because 9 times out of 10, all those kind of conversations don't even go anywhere, and kind of falls out, so I probably won't say anything. Sorry, that was totally a jerk move, but okay. I'm losing track. Under, over, under, over, over, under, over, and then under, over, and under, and then over, under, and see how it meets up. It's all good. If you keep track, pay attention, it'll all meet up correctly where it's supposed to. Over, under. Let me see if there's anything. My favorite collaboration so far is Jackson's mind and his stylus. That should be a shirt. Well, not the Jackson part, but that's a cool. Okay, where am I at? Okay, I can't get distracted here. Okay, I've gone over here, coming back. Okay, over, under. Back around here, it's matching up. Come back over here, over, under, over, under, under. Okay. Under, over. I have to say it. I have to say it or I get confused and I lose track. Under, over. Over. Let's see here. It's going to be let's see here. Lord of the Rings deck. Will the Lord of the Rings deck be a subscriber or something separate? It'll be something separate. B-Dog is correct. It's going to be a Kickstarter. When I'm going to do that, I do not know. My hope and plan is that over the next month or so, that I could get finished with all of the subscription decks. I'm currently working on October, and my hope is to get finished with all the King's Wild Short subscriptions decks and be done. I'm finished with table players. Control S. It's getting finicky. My hope is to get finished with all the subscription decks in the next month or so, and then take a month or two off and do nothing but Lord of the Rings stuff. I would imagine that Lord of the Rings, all the COVID stuff, kind of basically threw everything off schedule. But I would suspect that the Lord of the Rings is like spring of next year, just because I have to get all of the artwork done before I launch the project, because I have to get it approved by. I have to get all the artwork approved by the Tolkien estate before I even start a project or kind of go public with it and start taking monies for things. Under, over, under, over. I'm going to zoom out so you can kind of see. So now you can kind of see everything's starting to piece together. And there'll be some parts that I have to go back and finish. But if I keep on this track, I will end up doing everything, every under, over, and I'll meet back up. Let's see here. Whenever you say the Tolkien estate, I imagine some old British people like Downton Abbey. You know what? You are totally not far off. It's just the descendants of Tolkien. His son, Christopher, who published a lot of his later stuff, he recently passed away. And just it's kind of now the sons and daughters of the descendants of Tolkien, like granddaughters and things like that. So see how this matched up nice? Under, over, under. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm saying that over and over again. I didn't mean to do that. Over, under, over. Under, over, over, under. Apologize. Under. Something you'll notice is if you do it correctly, anytime you have a square made, you'll have kind of like this shape that's like this. And that's how you kind of, it's a good way to know that you're doing it correctly is when your squares make that shape. If they don't make that shape, you're doing it wrong. Ooh. Under, over, under. Under, over. Under, over. Under. She's like, I need to have like a stand-up routine where I'm telling jokes and stuff right now. Under, over. What time is it? 10:30 almost. I'll do this for a little bit longer. Let's see here. Do you have any recommendations for playing card custom seals, like books that you own or know of that are really great for taking inspiration from? I honestly think the best place for inspiration is Pinterest, just because I can get lots of images of lots of different things on Pinterest. And also I like it just because I've been doing it for a long time, and I just have a big catalog of, different boards and stuff. Let's see here. Who's on first? Who's on first? What's on second? I don't know. Who's on third? Under, over, over, under. I'm going to do it for just a little bit longer and then call it a night, because this is just going to be another hour or two of me doing this. And I think you guys have got the point. You've got the gist of how I'm doing this. Under, over, under. Under, over. Over. Under, over. And because I have the symmetry turned off, I've got to do this on all four sides. So it's not something that I can kind of like use my computer processing advantage and it mirrors over, because then it wouldn't be a genuine Celtic knot. And what I mean by that is like this, if you look at this, Control S, what I mean by a genuine Celtic knot is, if I'm looking, let me find an example. Here's an example. So if I just mirrored this down the middle and just did one half and then mirrored it over, they would be symmetrical. But because I'm doing it the old-fashioned way, everything is not symmetrical. So like this over on this side is over, but on this side, you'll see that it's under. And the same thing, like this is an over on this side, and this is an under on this side. And then, you could take that anywhere. So like this part here is an over, but on this side, it's an under. So it's like you take that extra step and you take that extra time to do each side of the design, then it comes out more interesting because it's not symmetrical and it's all different. All right, let me see here. Put my pen down. Let me turn this over here. I'm just going to zoom out so you can kind of see it. Move over here. So yeah, I think that's about it. Control S. Let me see if I want to say anything else. That's about it. This is kind of my process. And so from here I'll go and finish out the artwork, and it'll end up being similar to this design, this one here, in terms of like the look and the colors and stuff like that. Except the Celtic Knot design itself is going to be gold foil instead of just an opening. And you can kind of see I'm reworking all of the, like this is the Ace of Hearts. I haven't finished this one yet, but I'm reworking all the artwork. So like all this gold area, the gold knots and all that kind of stuff, the gold background, all that stuff is going to be foil and more foil. It's going to be awesome. Anyways, that's my process with this. Let me see here. I'm going to answer some more questions before I go. I feel like I need to make up for me being silent the whole time. Will there be black tuck gilded version of the new printing? I'm not sure. I'll show you what we're going to do on the tuck case. I'll just draw a little picture of it. Let me just minimize this. I'll make a new image. Come down here. So, if you remember the Arthurian deck, the first Arthurian deck, the tongue flap tucked in, and then there was a Excalibur, the sword Excalibur, kind of in foil on the tongue flap, and it would go into. I don't see. Let me see. Do I have one? Hold on a second. I got one. Let me just get it. Where'd it go? So this is the gilded version. We did this later, after the fact, but it's still the same tuck case. So in the front, you have Excalibur here, and it goes around. I don't like how this has a seal because it covers up the sword, but if you follow the sword, it goes over the top and then into the anvil, just like the legend. And when you would pull the tongue out, you'd pull the sword from the anvil. So I really like that idea. I don't like how we did that, because it basically like ruins that story of the sword. So we're going to take that idea and we're going to take it we're going to take it one step further. And then, so if this is the tuck, I'm not drawing red. So if this is the tuck case here, like this, instead of just having a standard style cut tuck case that has a little thumb hole right there, we're going to make it to where the tongue flap comes over like this, and then that same kind of sword Excalibur design will come up over the top and come down like this. But we're going to die cut it to where instead of it going like this, like a regular tongue, and it just be printed, the sword be printed on it, we're actually going to die cut it to where the tongue has a section that comes down in this long thing. And then there'll be a die cut hole in the tuck case right here where the sword actually goes into the anvil or stone or whatever you want to call it. And so this will be the anvil here like this. And so the tongue flap will get tucked into this slit. And so when you actually pull the tongue flap out, you're actually pulling, like if I do a dotted line of what the tongue looks like underneath this. it'll actually be the sword that's in the sword in the stone or in the anvil. And so when you pull the tongue out, you're actually you're taking that we're taking that pulling the sword out of the stone even further, and you're actually going to pull the whole length of the sword out. And so what it'll look like when the tongue is pulled is you'll have the anvil empty, because before there was still like a design of the sword still there when you pulled it out. But this one, you'll have an actual empty anvil and tuck case, all like empty tuck case. And then the tongue flap will be like this. And then you'll have the sword that you've pulled out. So we just have taken that idea and pushed it a little bit further to kind of sell that kind of idea. And I'm pretty excited about it because I think that's going to be cool. Let me see here. Let me answer some more questions. Oops, I don't hit the camera with my microphone. Let's see here. Let's see if I've got any more questions. Let me go back up a little bit. Mistborn isn't dead. It's just on the back burner because I got the Mistborn license, then I got the Tolkien license, and Tolkien is by far my favorite piece of literature ever. And Mistborn just kind of took a back burner. Will there be more than one edition? Yes, there is going to be more than one edition. We'll have a standard edition, which is this, which will be where you pull the sword, and then we're going to do something similar like we did the first time around, where you have I think we called it the Camelot edition, where it had like a little book. I'll show you. There's a little book like this, the Camelot edition. So I had gold foil, the Ethereum. So we'll have a version like this, but this one is going to be the standard version, and the other version is going to be the gilded one. But we'll only have 2 editions of that. Let's see here, and the idea is for the standard edition, with all the gold foil and stuff like that on the cards, like that'll be the deck that we reprint, because we sold out of Ethereums. That was one of our better selling decks. Let's see here. I think that's it. I'll wait around for a few more questions. If you got them, I'd be happy to answer them. Let me see if there's anything else I want to say. I don't think so. All right. I think that's about it. Once again, I say this every week, and I'm going to say it again because I think it's merits. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to hang out with me, even if it's over the interwebs. It means a lot to me. You guys are the reason why I do this stuff, and your interaction is so awesome. And I appreciate it. I'm trying to think if there's anything going to happen this week. Not really. We're just kind of doing our thing this week. I hope you guys have a great week, even with all the craziness going on. Hope you stay safe. Hope your family stays safe. And, yeah, that's it. I hope you guys have a great week. I appreciate you being here, and I will see you next week. Take it easy. See you.